afternoon, whatever it is, where you live, good evening, wherever you are. Anyway, hey, thanks for joining me. It's another live stream coming to you live from Atascadero, California. So, I want to thank you guys for joining me. That's really nice of you. I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're having a great day. Looks like we got Tom and Gail Severson's here. I see her. And looks like Andre. Post a link for your custom strings. We'll do that. And, oh, well, thank you, Tom. You love those strings. I tell you what, so I string all my guitars like that. So when I pick up a guitar, it doesn't feel weird to me. Some of the dimensions might feel different. And I tell you what, it's not only the body depth, it's the size of the body, it's the angle of where the neck is. And, sometimes it's hard to go between instruments just because of the angle of the neck and how it sits on your body. But otherwise, the strings and the action, they're all the same. So that's why you can pick up, I can pick up several guitars and have really no problem playing them. So that was Moon Dance. And kind of messing around with Moon Dance. So we've got a exciting show, right, Wes?
Yeah.
That a boy. Greetings from East Tennessee. Speaking of East Tennessee, I'm going to be going to the Chet Atkins Appreciation Convention, which is going to be I think it's starting next Thursday, so no live stream next week. So we're going to Nashville, Gail and I. We have several friends that live back there, and also we have our grandkids that live back there. One of our grandkids moved there, and he's got 4 children, so we're going to, or 3 children. It's hard to keep up with them, keep track of them. So we're going to check out our grandkids. We haven't seen them in a long time. So that's going to be fun. So we're going to be out of here. No live stream next week. And so everything's looking good. The Chet Atkins thing. So you go online and you see all these guys playing that Chet. Man, I cannot play that. I don't play with a thumb pick. A thumb pick drives me nuts. I don't know how those guys do it. Actually, I do know how. I had a friend of mine, Kerry Godwin, said, if you want to play, I saw him teach a class, if you want to play like this, lock yourself in a cave and go like this for about 20 hours. And that's how you do it. You got to get that thumb going so it's automatic. When you hear Tom Bresch talk about it, he just says it's automatic. I don't even think about it. So Tom Bresch won't be there, unfortunately. He's passed on, and he was one of the mainstays there at the Chet Atkins convention. So I hope to bring back some photos and some stories about that. I hope to see a couple of people that I've always wanted to meet. One of them's John Knowles. The other is Guy Van Dusen, and I'm hoping to meet them. Wonderful players. And then Parker Hastings, old student of mine. Not an old student, he's a young man. Whoa, why is that distorted? So, here's that song. This is Jiffy Jam. So that was a Jerry Reed tune. I remember learning that. The transcription was by John Knowles, and I always thought that was a great little tune. And Jerry Reed, of course, was a thumb picker on steroids. Oh, here's another one. Something like that. Oh yeah, let me do the ending. Sorry. Let's see. That was another Jerry Reed tune. Now, I believe Jerry Reed married Chet Atkins' daughter. Can we get a verification on that from you guys out there? Your assignment is to look that up. Anyway, so we've got a couple other visitors. Jose from Spain. Wow. And thank you for joining us. That's nice. I've never been to England, but I've been to Oklahoma. Remember that song? I've never been to Spain. So, gosh, I've been buying guitars and selling guitars like crazy. It's nuts. So we sold the Heritage 535, the 525, and check this out though. I have a brand new, I'm going to unplug this, Wes. A brand spanking new, I don't know, what's the spanking all about? Oh, that's from babies. I don't think they spank babies anymore, do they, when they deliver them? This is a brand new 535 from Heritage. I just got it in. It's brand spanking new, so I'm so pleased to finally get something from them. I have several guitars on order from them, and they come dripping in over a period of years, and so I need to place another order, so 2 years from now we can get another guitar. All right. Here it is. Let's see. speakers. I don't think it's my volume.
It's those speakers, man. Ever since you got those new speakers, it does that now.
God.
Doesn't I can't hear it on the stream unless this overhead's up.
Oh, really?
But I don't know.
Another guitar is at the front door. Oh, wow. Hey, honey, maybe I ought to have John unpack that. Bring it in here. What?
The guitar or those speakers just keep on distorting. Can you just turn down your thing, maybe? I don't know what to do about that.
See it? No, it's overloading into the input.
Yeah, but it sounds fine here.
It is. Turn the gain into the channel down a little, and then turn the channel fader up. Anyway, if you're interested in this, let me know. Let's see if we can play something on it. That came straight out of the box. Isn't that crazy? Oh my goodness. We have a new baby has arrived. Let's check this out. This is an 8, thank you, honey. An 805.
Kind of a honey color.
Yeah, a honey blonde. Look at that. And this one has inlays. That is very, very special. This one I could actually teach with. And it's got the, let's see, volume and tone. Just, yeah, volume and tone on there. Let's try it out. Oh, it doesn't even have a strap button. No, that drives me nuts. Gotta have a strap button. So this just came right now. Wow. Let's turn this up. Wait. Are you getting some sound there, Wes?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing, but other than that, everything's wonderful. This is sweet. Let's see if play. Action is really low. I mean high. I'll have to work on it before I can play anything serious on it. See why I like round wound or flat wound strings? I hate that sound. Anyway, wow, we just got this in, so I'm going to do some cleanup on it and put a strap button on it and examine it, set it up, and see what happens. Nice. So this is 1 3/4 inch nut width. Anyway, there it is. I don't know Mike, what guitar are you referring to? Which one are we selling? I don't know. I don't know. We just got this in, so I don't know what we're going to do. Let me show you another guitar, though, that we just got in, that I've had a chance to work on. That's very, very cool. This is an 803 15-inch. And the 15-inch, nice little guitar with a bunch of modifications on this guitar. Let me show you the mods first. Look at the tuners on this. See those tuners? It's a Gotch tuner, and it's like they really have a super big gear thing. I mean, you got to turn it you got to turn it a few times to get it to go around once, you know. So it's you can really fine tune things. And then, see this here? It's got a string tree. Hey Wes, can you? Well, here, there it is. See that string tree? I've never seen this before. It's a. See how that is? And it fits under. See how it fits under those tuner bolts there? So it fits under there, and it puts the strings at an angle so they don't. Sometimes, you know, it gets really crowded up here with Eastman guitars. You put this on, and it spreads them out, and it's very neat. I've never seen anything like that before. It's also got a McNally pickup, which I'm not familiar with that pickup, but it's a kind of a low output pickup, but it is a very sweet sounding pickup. So 15-inch, it's kind of like a little George Benson. It's mahogany. Let me show that. Mahogany sides and back. 3-piece maple neck. Sweet little guitar. Whoops. Wish I had $1 for every minute I've spent trying to put my strap on. Let me play another song. How about this song? Beyond the Sea. guitar, especially for 15-inch. I think this particular one has got some real sweet tones. It doesn't. They took the pick guard off, and so it's missing the pick guard. But a lot of people do that. Anyway, there it is. I'm going to probably offer this guy up. Well, I am. I'm going to offer him up. We'll do a video on it sometime, I guess, Wes, right?
Yeah, that one does. That sounds better than most of the other Eastmans, to be honest.
Most, really?
Just, yeah. You said it has a different pickup. Seems less. I don't know. It just seems
different.
warmer. Yeah.
Do we have
Warmer.
any? You think it's warmer?
Yeah, darker, a little warmer.
Yeah, that's what the. Yeah, I think it is warmer. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, so
It's
anyway.
not so. Yeah, like usually the Eastmans are kind of bright. I think it just sounds dark and warm and
Uh-huh.
nice.
So let's see. Does Eastman have a block in the center? No, this is fully hollow. By the way, the jack has been switched to a switchcraft, and then new pots and caps and all that. So they really hot rodded this. I think it made a difference. Let's see who we got here. Wes.
Do you think that tree thing makes a difference on the sound? That
You know,
string
no,
tree
I
thing?
don't. I don't think that does. Well, I don't know. Maybe it does. It does seem to have a little more sustain than a lot of 15 inches. Especially with the Rosewood Bridge.
I feel like that thing sounds like it's bigger than it looks.
Yeah, it does, huh?
You know, it looks like it should not be putting out that sound. Sounds like a big old
Yeah.
thing. So the 17-inch.
Well, yeah, we'll compare it to that 17 inch, and it's crazy. So it's pretty comfortable. It's like a little George Benson. So, any questions about anything we got there, Wes?
Yeah. Yeah, here's a good one. Good one right here. My question from Wayward the Sheep. My question is, have you ever played while having a psychedelic experience? If so, how did that impact you as an individual and as a musician?
Yeah, I've never had a psychedelic experience, to be honest, so I don't know.
Well, they say that you can, you know, when you take mushrooms in like not in like a
pizza?
party type of thing, in like a medical environment where you're watched by somebody.
Uh-huh.
You can like see music, or you can hear different things in music. A lot of new ideas come out. A lot of things you haven't heard before you can hear. Mushrooms have come a long way from where they were as like this party trip out drug. They're like
Really?
used to treat all kinds of stuff now. Addictions and stuff. If you go and you take them as a medicine and you trip out, yeah, but you're there with a doctor, and people that have stuttered. If
really?
you go in with the intention of, I want to stop stuttering, people have taken mushrooms, and then when they were all done, 5 or 6 hours later, they didn't stutter anymore.
You're kidding.
So it does certain things to your brain. They're not bad at all. I mean, people obviously take them for bad reasons, but if you take them in set intentions and stuff like that, there's a lot of research and a lot of crazy crazy studies and stuff now.
Huh.
PTSD. If you're really scared of stuff, or there's it's a trip for sure. And musicians too. Seem like they say that you can see different things and hear different things, and
Wow. Well, maybe we ought to try that. Now, when you're under a doctor's supervision, does the doctor take them too?
no.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Anyway,
I've never
So, yeah.
had a psychedelic experience. But good. That's good. Interesting.
it is really interesting. There's definitely some good documentaries out there for sure. It's starting to definitely like lose its stigma as terms of being just this thing you trip out on and go party. But anyway,
Hey, there's Kirby. Hey, Kirby.
Lefty 54 Arthur. Hi, Rich. Enjoy your demos. Have you ever played a D'Angelico EX1, and how would you compare it to the Eastman line?
Well, I've never done, I don't have any experience with the D'Angelicos. I've played them a couple times. I've seen guys have had them at our camp. It's the ones the guys had at camp was nothing to write home about. That's my only experience. I'm sure they make some wonderful instruments, but I don't know. I do not know. So I just can't answer anything about that.
Let's see. Wayward Sheep again has a different one. Armani's here. Hey, Armani, how's it going, buddy? He said, you have a guild again, Rich. Nice one.
Oh, cool.
But Wayward had another question. Do you have any specific exercises, or do you have any advice for a younger fellow who develops tension and pain after playing 30 to 45 minutes?
Well, tension. Where's the tension? In your neck, or where? And where's the pain too? So, something's wrong if it's painful. You know, a lot of times if you're playing with the guitar neck really low like this, it puts a lot of pressure on this hand. And, you know, I look back at what I used to teach a long time ago, and it was to play like this. And I tell you what, that can be traumatic to your wrist. As a matter of fact, it hurts my wrist just to hold it like that. And that's the main fear I have, is not that my fingers will give out, it's my wrist, that the wrist will start really being painful. Because when that's done, well, forget it. So, make sure you kind of, when you hold the guitar, I think you're best at having the neck up, and you kind of have an even, maybe put on a brace on your wrist, and so you're playing with that wrist even. That's my advice. Try not to do anything that actually hurts you. Pain is no gain when it comes to guitar playing. If it hurts, you got to stop. Is spamming allowed?
Where's that? No,
You see what it's a cool max. Is spamming allowed? Anything else?
People are like, sure, yeah, please spam my
spam my account.
spam my live stream chat.
Yeah, please,
Great, thank you
please.
for that.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, remember we've had those guys get on there and they put like on there like 500 things.
Let's see. So Jim, Nikas, you're talking about things like ketamine infusions. Same thing. Yeah, there's a few different drugs out there that can kind of expand your mind, but mushrooms I think are the only ones that, like, there's proof that they really grow. Like Wayward Sheep says, they grow your brain. They help your.
They really.
Yeah, they like have things, even not the trippy ones. The ones just that you eat are really good for your brain.
Well, we had pizza yesterday. I had a psychedelic experience of it, my pizza.
Let's see. E flat add 9 asks, where can you go with a diminished chord except back to the 1?
To the bank. Diminished chords, which we're going to do a diminished lesson, but yeah, let's talk about that. Why don't let's talk about that. So a diminished chord can be based off of a flat 9, flat 7, the 5th, the 3rd of any dominant chord, which means a diminished chord has 4 different could function in 4 different positions. In other words, whoops, did you turn me off or did I turn me off? Here. So like a diminished chord like this, B7, B diminished, right? Could be part of an E7 chord. Right? Now B diminished could also be an extension of a B flat 7 chord. Right? Okay, a B flat, a B diminished is also part of a G7 chord. Basically, you take each tone of a diminished chord and lower it down a half step, and that'll tell you what the root is that it could function as. So here's, lower that down, that's a G7. So that could go there, it could go here, it could go here. This part of an E, part of a C sharp diminished. C sharp diminished goes to, where does it go? It goes to F sharp. So it's a great transitional chord, right? Just so if we want to change keys or go to another sound, you certainly can. So if I'm in the key of E flat, say, and instead of resolving there, why don't I go like this? E flat, B flat 7. So now I just changed keys. Okay, so there's that. Then there's also, as a diminished passing chord, it happens all the time when you go. So it's kind of like a diminished passing chord. It has a function, it does have some sort of functioning dominant sound. Okay, because diminished does that. Also, people use it sometimes on the 1 chord. Okay, so on the 1 chord, let's say I'm in the key of G, I might go. Hear it? Now, a diminished chord, look at this, watch this. Watch this. Here's a G7, right? Here's an F sharp 7. Okay, put a G in the bass. It's like an F sharp 7, so it's almost like a sidestepping. Are you hearing it? All right. Whoop-dee. Is that Ralphie Valadares? Ralphie Stanfield there? Let's play Moon Dance. I have a chart out. I just played Moon Dance in the very beginning.
Let's see. So, Camp G May, what's a good video to watch for a beginner jazz cat player? Jazz cats player.
Jazz cats? Jazz cats? Jazz cats? If you want to, you're talking about my videos, the Dirty Dozen jazz chords, start with that. Dirty Dozen jazz progressions, start with those things. I think that would be good.
Let's see. Rich, you're awesome. What is your favorite Ted Greene chord melody interpretation? Your favorite Ted Greene moment?
I don't. That's a good question. I don't have too many, but it's funny. What happens is I have in an arrangement of mine. I have what I thought I remember Ted doing, and so I worked it out, and then I go back and listen to it, and I realize Ted didn't do that, but this is something that Ted would do. It was kind of funny. So, like in the song, They Can't Take That Away From Me. That's a Joe Pass move. Now, once I thought I heard Ted go, with these chromatic chords going down like that. Turns out I don't think he did it in that arrangement. Maybe he did it in something else that he did, but I thought, well, that's a Ted thing, Ted was influenced a lot by George Van Epps. So if you listen to George, boy, you sure hear you can hear Ted's influence from George Van Epps. So you might check that out sometime. Anything else?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few that I missed up here. Hold on. Work on, Ralph asked, work on Capriccio Arabe. Do you know what that is?
No?
Tension. How are you holding your thumb against the neck?
Oh, here? Well, like that, behind the first finger. It depends. It's kind of hard to see, I guess. I could move my thumb up a little. Something like that. That's kind of hard to show.
Ever heard studied / Barry Harris method on harmony / scale?
No. It's probably pretty good.
How do you approach learning comping? Do you transcribe comping?
Wow, that's probably pretty hard to do. Comping is a different animal. It depends on. So comping, I heard a great definition of comping. Comping stands for accompaniment, complement, and composition. So think about it. Comping is accompaniment, right? You're accompanying what is happening. Composition, in other words, you're creating something on the fly that's doing that. Composition. And what was the other thing I said? Accompaniment. Complement. In other words, when you comp, you want to complement. Now, you're either going to add or you're going to subtract to the overall sound. And this is where I think that recording plays a lot, because you can hear when you start recording and you hear somebody comp or you yourself comp and you think, God, that's busy. Or do we really need all this comping? Not really. When you start mixing it down, you think, wow, maybe not. So accompaniment or comping I don't know. So let's say we're going to do a song like, right? Well, since we already played that. But the way you born, da 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 da, ba ba da da ba, do do da 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 do do do, da 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 da. Da 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 down, down 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 da 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 do 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 it's kind of love. Ba da 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 da. So you're doing a lot of listening, filling in the holes, and still creating some harmony, but it's not a lot da 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 da. We don't need that unless that's a big band thing. Sometimes it's nice, and you'll feel it when it's nice to play that. But you got drums, you got bass, walking. Do you need all that? Probably not. Probably one of the best compers out there is John Pisano. And he's got a ton of videos of him playing live. Go check him out. John does really well.
Wayward asks, what do you recall in your life first introducing you to music? I don't understand that question.
What first introduced me to music?
What do you recall in your life first introducing you to music?
Probably my mother playing piano, and then I took piano lessons. I took lessons at 5. Okay, but I remember my mom going. She'd play. Oh, and this one. Let's see. Yeah. Cow Boogie, I think it was. Then I remember her doing. And then I remember her doing Autumn Leaves. And then the Roger Williams version. It had all this. So she was pretty good. And, she didn't play professionally, but she could read music really well. And her sister's just the opposite. Her sister couldn't read music, but had a phenomenal ear. So what a combination, huh? And so those were big influences on me. And then I took piano lessons. And learn this. Remember that? Alley Cat? Anyway, so yeah, it was my mom.
Let's see. Hold on.
The mushroom. Wes, do you have any news? You want to do some news before we get kicked off the air?
I don't have any news, man. I really don't. The only news there was Santana passing out on stage because he didn't eat enough.
Oh.
He didn't eat enough. Come on. He didn't eat enough. So he was playing this show in Michigan Tuesday. All of a sudden, about 40 minutes into his set, he goes and sits down on one of the risers on stage. And everyone was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then he apparently like lost consciousness, and a bunch of people rushed him out. There's him getting carried out with a sheep behind him. But he was fine. So he woke back up. He's waving. You can see his arm there waving to the crowd. So he was fine when they pulled him back off stage. But anyway, the next night he posted on Facebook about what happened, and he says, sorry, I forgot to eat and drink that day. So if you have any gigs, make sure you eat, make sure you drink. I mean, sometimes that happens to people for sure, but mostly that's mostly super busy people that are going from one thing to the next. Santana doesn't strike me as the busiest guy. I think he just got one job per day, play that show. Well, I don't know. Maybe they were wheeling him around everywhere.
It's
promos
demanding now.
So you never know. But he's all right. He had to cancel a show last night, but I'm assuming he's going to be back on tour. His band's on tour with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh wow!
And,
what a show!
I
thought Santana was in Vegas.
No. This was in Michigan.
Okay. Well.
So that's all I got for news today. So there you go. There you have it.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good.
But there's more questions here.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hi, Robin Riggs. Nice for you to join us. Nice to see you.
Rich, Lefty54 says, Rich, with so much to practice, technique, scales, chords, arpeggios, and repertoire, how would you break up a one for practice lesson? I'm guessing a 1 hour practice lesson. How would you break up a 1 for practice lesson? I'm guessing 1 hour.
Well, okay, so you have to think about. I think there's 4 areas, 3 areas you really want to work on. Repertoire, that's playing songs, licks. That's where all the stuff somebody's going to pay you to play. Okay, then there's theory. In theory, you got to know theory. You got to make an effort to know theory inside and out. Okay, don't just blow it off. You got to know theory. And there's technique. Nobody's going to pay you to learn theory, because you learn theory. There doesn't make you. It doesn't. Nobody's going to hire you because of that. But they expect that you would do that, and they would expect you to have good technique. So those 3 areas. So what I think is important, is to do some technique. Like, let's say you got an hour. I used to say, okay, divide it up into 20 minutes. I don't say that anymore. I think devote a full hour to technique. And now the next day, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to review what you did, and devote 55 minutes to repertoire. The next day, you work on your 5 minutes of technique, your 5 minutes of repertoire, right? Just review it and focus for 55 or 50 minutes on theory. And I mean, get it down so you know. If somebody says, what's the 5th of A flat? You know. What's the flat 9 of B flat? You know. Okay? You got to know that stuff. What's the 4 chord in the key of B? You got to know that, okay? So very important. So take the time and do your homework and write that kind of junk out. Get my theory for the road. Then you start all over again. So you got 3 days, right? First day, solid 1 hour of technique, whatever you're doing. The next day, 55 minutes of repertoire and 5 minutes of reviewing your technique. And then the next day, review and explore. And you keep that up I think you'll do really well. And the reason is because I think, for me anyways, I break a barrier after about 40 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes of whatever I'm doing. I kind of, I feel like I'm on a different plateau now, that I can focus and play more and enjoy it and have more command, as opposed to just doing 20 minutes. I'm not done at 20 minutes. I got to get at least 40. So try that and tell me how it works. I'd like to hear what you'd have to say about that.
Let's see. Alexi saw Santana around 97 and talking about mushrooms. He was tripping. That's funny. E flat add 9. Thanks for the answer on the diminished chords. What's your favorite sounding hollow or semi-hollow guitar unplugged? You're not a fan of the way they sound unplugged. I know that.
Yeah, I play them unplugged all the time. But I don't judge the guitar by the way it sounds acoustically. The better the guitar sounds electrically, sometimes the worse it sounds acoustically. So if it's too acoustic, it's a give and take. There's so many different things. So many different variables.
I would imagine the Howard Roberts one, are those louder because they have a big old hole in the middle, like an acoustic?
Yeah, this Howard Roberts, this one here, this is loud. That's pretty loud.
Yeah.
As opposed to this. Hear the difference? Listen to this, Howard. They're louder. They got a sound hole. Yeah. That's the way it is. And then hear this. This volume control drives me nuts. Hey, Rob, can you fix that? When it's either, I've got a few guitars, it's either on or off the volume knob. It's like, it's loud, too soft. You move it a number. Do you think it's just dirty or is it bad pot? That was for Robin Riggs. Okay, so, this is as guitar players, I think we focus too much on technique and not enough on hearing tunes.
Learning tunes.
Learning tunes. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you can't have both. You can't have both. I mean, you can have both, but you got to work on them both.
Tom asked, Rich, great ideas. 1 hour on technique. Is that scales, arpeggios, voicings? ?
Yes. Technique. What does that mean? That's single note technique, chords, or chords. Even playing chords. Finding new. That's technique. Finding new inversions. That's technique. Putting them into a song. That's repertoire. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Make sense?
Robin says other tapers are available.
You gotta put them in, right? So what do you think is the best pot, Rob? And we're not talking mushrooms. We're talking...
The best pot. We're talking pot now, not mushrooms.
I'll tell you, one time I was playing a gig with these guys, and they're old friends of mine, and this is many years ago. And the one guy was an avid pot grower and smoker. Well, two of them were. And me and the drummer, we weren't, But anyway, let's go. This girl's got some pot. She wants to she wants us to try it out, you know. So okay, so we all go over there, and he passes around this joint, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh my God!" And he says, "Don't have any more of this. Nobody smoke anymore. Nobody." It's like, yeah, okay. I turned around and I thought they had to carry me in. Good God, that was just terrible. I couldn't stand up to play. I had to sit down. Looking back, I think, God, it was funny. But you imagine hiring a band for your wedding, and then they're like all toasted. I guess that happens.
Oh, I'm sure that happens a lot.
I don't partake in drugs too much.
E flat add 9 says Emerson custom pots are great. Very good taper.
Okay.
Emerson custom pots.
What about the CTS? You know, I've gotten some of those, and I thought those were the holy grail, but I haven't been that knocked out by them. I don't, you know. So this Emerson, I wouldn't mind trying that. So let's do a lesson since we're talking about this, because I wanted to do you guys know the difference between a diminished scale and a dominant diminished scale?
No.
Okay. Well, let's examine that, okay? It's very simple. All right. So a diminished scale is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So it looks like this. Whole step, half step, whole step, whoops, whole step, half step, whole step. What am I doing? Too much. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So that is an F diminished scale. What is going on? Whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So a nice fingering of that would be this. Now that is for a F diminished scale. Well, F diminished. Now, what did we say an F diminished could function as? It could function as a E7 flat 9. So, okay. Now, if I start on the note E and go half step, whole step, now I call that a dominant diminished. So I'm starting with a half step, and the half step is right on the root of the scale I'm going to play for that chord. In other words, for E7 flat 9, I'm going to start on the note E and go half step, and then whole step, half step. So that's a dominant diminished. This is just a diminished whole step. So they're actually the same scale. It's how they're identified. You know what I mean? They're same notes, just the starting note, if you will. Does that make sense? So, for instance, an A dominant diminished scale, which would be for an A7 flat 9. An A dominant diminished is actually a B flat diminished scale. Okay? So that's the difference. You got that, Wes?
Yeah.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yes. Any other questions from anybody? What do you think, Wes? Anything else?
Yeah, Empress asked, what is your go-to all-time favorite archtop electric guitar?
All of them.
If you could have one, you can only take one to a desert island.
You know, I wouldn't go. Why would I even want
I
to?
would take the one that can float you the best to try to get you to a different...
A different place. Yeah. You know, I like this one here. I've spent a lot of time with this Heritage 575. I've spent a lot of hours with an L4. My Golden Eagles, spent a lot of time with those. I like those. I'm not the biggest fan of 175s. I've spent decades with one of those, and I like Howard Roberts. Spent a lot of time with those. I like those. I've been getting into the guilds. I like the guilds. You know, I think the guitar has to speak to you. So when you're at this level of quality, I think each one is going to be good. You know, like a nice Eastman, a nice Howard Roberts, a nice Guild. When you're at that level, it's like, wow, you can appreciate each one. You know, when you get in the lower line guitars, you're like, You're always looking at the nicer stuff, and there's things about it you don't like. When you buy a guitar, I think it's really important that you buy it on the way it sounds, the way it feels in your hands, the way the body feels, that it's comfortable. You're going to be spending a lot of hours. Make sure that this is comfortable. You know, so big arch tops like this, they're uncomfortable to play like this. Last night I went to sleep in Detroit City, and I dreamed, you know, how them cotton fields back home. You know, you don't want to play it like that. You want to play it with the across your body. It's very comfortable. The neck is up, nice position. Play like this all day. It wouldn't bother me. Except for I don't like where the strap button is. So I hope that helps you. But just buy a real nice guitar that, and then what'll happen is it'll grow on you or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So Alexi and Robin both say the like the Bourns guitar pots. Bourns, Bourns, Bourns guitar pots.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's cool.
Yep. And then Robin also says changing to a linear taper pot from the audio taper that's in there will give a more gradual roll off of volume.
Wow, what's a linear? I don't get it. What does that mean? Is it a fader that goes up like and down, like linear? No, it's
a linear taper pot from the audio taper that's in there will give you a more gradual roll. I don't know. It's probably just a different structure.
Well, that's
like
just
that.
cuckoo, Rob.
You have to look in the fine print there when you look at the pots, and if it says this is a linear taper pot, buy it. Try it.
Okay, well, thank you, Robin.
I'm guessing that's
Rob Riggs.
Yeah.
Rob and I are going to play together, right, Rob? We're going to do the surf band thing at the Band-Tree reunion. Surf's Up.
What tunes are you gonna do?
Well, we're going to do, I think, by the way, as one of an exercise, and I'm going to start doing this so I can play with Rob, is a tremolo exercise, and I think this is super important. All right, let me start all over because you're going to want to make this into a separate deal, Wes. One of the most important things you can do for your technique is to develop an exercise that involves tremolo. Tremolo just means you're going real fast on one string. So a good exercise is to try to do that as even as you possibly can, and you make tiny little circles. You get movement with the thumb, almost like you're stirring iced tea. You're not going like this. You're just, it's like right around in here like this. And what you do is you set your metronome for 4 beats, slow beats. And you're going to play as soft as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. As soft as you can. I'm doing it poorly because I haven't done this in a long time. Now you do it one more time, and you do it a little louder. Looks like we're being spammed. Now you do it again, a little louder. You want to develop that control. Now you do it one last time as loud as you possibly can. And you notice the strokes are bigger. Three, 4. You get done with that, you can feel it right in here. And it's like, wow. Now, I used to do that a lot when I was many, many years ago. I haven't done that in a couple decades. And I can feel that. So you want to really get that down because it gets you nice and even picking, and you can feel the pressure that you're using and the attack. Very important. So generally speaking, you want this hand to be supported by the forearm, so this can dangle around and play. If I anchor, you don't have that movement, but whatever. You do whatever you want. This is America. You can do whatever you want, but I think it'd be good to not anchor your hand. Have the support of the forearm. Okay, do that every day for a week, and you're not going to believe how good you're going to be after that. End of story.
Wow.